In the previous talk, we have been discussing about Satipatthana, the method taught by the Buddha in order to develop not just mindfulness and concentration, but more importantly, to develop Vipassanā insight, insight into nature of impermanent suffering in non-self. Okay? Mm. And Satipatthana, as we explained, means the mindfulness that is firmly established. Okay? That means it is mindfulness that is uh, so well developed that it is occurring with unbroken continuity, occurring moment to moment to moment, strength with momentum, with precision, which brings about clarity with regards to the nature of the object that is noted. Okay? Mhm. So this is a type of mindfulness that we want to develop in our practice. Mhm. And mindfulness itself is explained that as the wholesome awareness, wholesome or pure awareness that is untainted, undisturbed by the mental defilements. It is this deep awareness sinks into the object, immerses completely into the object, allowing the mind to explore the nature of the object thoroughly and deeply. Okay? So, and it is also this unfaithful awareness that brings to mind clearly each object that is experienced every single moment. Okay? So, unforgetful awareness that does not let the object out of sight or let the attention drift away to other things. No, but what are these objects? So when we were discussing about mindfulness, we keep talking about the objects. Okay? So what are these objects that mindfulness brings to mind? Mm. So when we develop Satipatthana, what are the objects that is noted? And so today, beginning from today, we will discuss about the object of contemplation in the practice of Satipatthana. Mm. So objects are very important when it comes to the practice of meditation. So without objects, we cannot develop our meditation. Okay? So I've heard some people say that you don't need objects when you practice meditation. That's not true. Without objects, you cannot develop meditation. Okay? Mm. So, yes, what is meditation? So in Pali we say bhavana. So I'm sure you all already know this word. Bhavana. What's the meaning? It means developing. Literally, it means developing. Developing what? Developing the mind. So how do you develop it? So by contemplating an object. So so bhavana involves the activity of contemplating a certain object in order to which object depends on the subject of meditation you are practicing. So, but every subject of meditation, every meditation involves contemplating of a certain object in order to develop, strengthen, and intensify a certain wholesome state of mind. Okay? Mm. Yeah. So meditation involves the contemplation, noting of an object. Okay? It cannot be without object. Mm. Yeah. Another thing to notice is that uh, another thing to note is that when what we are developing is wholesome state of mind. Okay, so we contemplate the object in order to develop, strengthen, and intensify a particular wholesome state of mind. Okay? So it must be a wholesome state of mind that is developed. When I say bhavana, developing, it means developing, strengthening, intensifying a wholesome state of mind, okay? And not an unwholesome state of mind. Okay? As far as Buddhist meditation is concerned, whether samatha or vipassana meditation, Buddhist meditation, always any kind of Buddhist meditation, meditation that the Buddha taught, uh, it leads to development of wholesome state of mind. Okay? Never to development of unwholesome state of mind. Okay? So, so you practice meditation and you start developing all this unwholesome state of mind, and then you're not practicing correctly. Something is wrong. So you better take a look at what is wrong. Okay? Yes. And so when you meditate, you always need an object. Okay? Mhm. So when we learn any subject of meditation, okay? Any subject at all, whether samatha or vipassana, okay? So it is necessary to know two things about the subject of meditation that you want to practice. Okay, so first thing you need to know is that uh, what is the object? Okay, so when you practice this meditation, what is the object that you need to direct your mind towards, to contemplate or to know? Okay? So that's the first thing that you need to know. Okay? And the second thing that you need to know is that when you direct your mind to contemplate this object, what is the state of mind or the wholesome state of mind that is supposed to be developed? Okay? So these two things you must know very clearly when you practice any subject of meditation. Okay? Mm, yeah. Yeah. So by knowing what is the object to contemplate, so then you know when you are practicing that meditation, you know where to direct your mind to. Okay? And by extension, you also know where not to direct your mind towards. Okay? Because some yogis, sometimes you find that they are not directing the mind to the right object. Okay? Mm. So you need to know clearly where to direct the mind to the correct object, okay? And where not to direct it to. Okay? Yeah, and by knowing what is the state of mind to be developed when you are contemplating that particular object, so then you can check for yourself if you are contemplating the object and then that particular state of mind develop, then you know you're practicing correctly. On the other hand, if another state of mind should develop, especially an unwholesome state of mind should develop, and then you know clearly that you are not practicing correctly. Okay? So these two things you must know clearly for any subject of meditation that you want to practice. Okay? The object to contemplate and the state of mind to be developed. So take for example metta meditation. Okay, so what is the object and what is the mental state that is developed? Okay. Mm. So the mental state, of course, is very clear. It's called metta meditation. Yeah? So the mental state that should develop is metta. Huh? So, what is the object? So, so when you give loving kindness, who do you direct it to? You direct it to living beings, right? So may all beings be well, happy, peaceful. Or sometimes you direct it to a particular person. May this person be well, happy, and peaceful. Right? So you direct it to a being, okay, living beings. Okay, so so the object of metta meditation is living beings, okay? Mm. Not inanimate objects. Okay? So you cannot say, may this chair be well, happy, and peaceful. It is inanimate object. Okay? So you don't direct metta to that. You direct metta towards living beings. Mm. Yeah, some people when they go to the forest, they look at the trees. Oh, may these trees be well, happy, and peaceful. Trees are inanimate objects, right? So you cannot send metta to the trees. Okay? But you can send metta to the devas living in the trees. The devas living in the trees, and they are living beings. So they are object of metta. Okay? So you make use of living beings as an object. You send this thought of kindness, metta, towards them. Okay? So you develop this metta. Okay? So you keep sending, bringing up this thought of metta and sending it to these beings. So as you keep sending the thought of metta again and again, this metta develop. Okay? So you're developing metta bhavana. Okay? So the mental state that's developed is metta. Metta means the genuine and sincere wish for the well-being of these living beings. Okay? So it's just a wish for the well-being of beings. Okay? So you, when you practice metta meditation, you have to make sure that this is the mental state that is developed. Okay? But on the other hand, if you keep sending the metta to these living beings and you find that the mental state that is developing is not metta but rather attachment to the living beings. Okay? Or sometimes even worse, the lust or desire for that living beings, for that person that you're sending metta to. Then in that case, you're not developing the correct mental state. Okay? And so this attachment, this lust, this desire, this unwholesome state of mind. And metta itself is a wholesome state of mind, pure state of mind. Okay? And so you have to watch out for that. Mm. Mm. So take another example. When you practice Asubha Samadhana, meditation on the lovesomeness of the body. Okay? So in this case, what is the object? So object is not just the body, head hair, body hair, nails, skin, teeth, and so on, right? But not just the body, not just all these bodily parts, but the loathsome aspect of these bodily parts. Okay? And so you must direct the mind to this loathsome aspect of these bodily parts. So when you contemplate the head hair, for example, so you must contemplate properly. So you send your mind, you contemplate the beautiful aspect of the hair. Or my hair is so silky, smooth, shiny, and so on, so beautiful. That is not the right object. Okay? So, so you have to contemplate the hair. You think of the hair. Let's say you don't wash the hair for, let's say, 1 year. What happened to the hair? So you'll be very smelly, very dirty, full of grease, full of dirt. Huh? So you not even want to touch it. If one piece of this hair fall on your foot, you will not even want to eat it. So you contemplate on this loathsome aspect of these bodily parts. Okay? Mm. And as you keep contemplating it, what is the mental state that's supposed to develop? So it's supposed to develop a state of detachment, uh, detachment from the body, okay? Detachment towards the body. Okay? So as you contemplate this sense of detachment, will develop stronger and stronger and stronger. Okay, such that you no longer attached to your body so much. Okay? But on the other hand, as you keep contemplating and you find that instead of detachment, you start to have aversion towards your own body. You start to hate your own body. Then it's not the right mental state. Because aversion is unwholesome state of mind. Detachment is a wholesome state of mind. It's alopa. So it's a wholesome state of mind. Aversion to the body is dosa, is unwholesome. So it's the wrong state of mind. So you have to make sure that you develop the correct state of mind. Mm, mm, mm. Then we come to the practice of Satipatthana Vipassana meditation. So when we practice Satipatthana Vipassana meditation, what is the state of mind that is developed, that we are supposed to develop? Okay? And so often when I ask this question, the yogis will answer mindfulness. Okay? So, no, this is only half of the answer, not complete. Okay? So the right answer is mindfulness and clear comprehension. Sati sampajanya. So not just mindfulness alone, but mindfulness uh, together with clear comprehension or clear discernment. Okay? Because if you say you develop mindfulness only, so uh, in other meditation also, even in samatha meditation, you you do have mindfulness. Mindfulness do develop. For example, you take metta meditation. So in metta meditation, there's mindfulness involved. You need mindfulness uh, to hold the attention on the object, that is the living beings. So you need to use mindfulness to keep directing the awareness towards the beings, and to keep sending, radiating the thought of kindness towards the beings. So mindfulness is involved. Mindfulness is also being developed uh, as you are developing metta meditation. Even if you do, let's say, kasina meditation, there also you need the mindfulness to keep bringing the attention to the kasina object, establish the attention on the kasina object. Okay? So you need mindfulness is also developed during samatha meditation. Okay? Mm. But when it comes to satipatthana vipassana meditation, uh, it's not just mindfulness, but mindfulness together with this clear comprehension. Okay? And so clear comprehension or sampajanya means the clarity of mind that discerns clearly nature, uh, nature of uh, the mental physical phenomena that we are noting in our practice. Okay? Mm. So so the mental state that we develop in this practice is uh, mindfulness together with clear comprehension. Mm. But of course, in the beginning, clear comprehension does not arise right from the beginning. Mm. Clear comprehension only arise once the mindfulness and concentration has been sufficiently developed. Mm. So in the beginning, initially, There's only mindfulness alone. Okay? Even this mindfulness also in the beginning, not always there. Okay? Often the mind wanders off and then the mindfulness is lost. So in the beginning, you need to make a lot of effort to keep bringing up this mindfulness to the object. Okay? Mm. So in the beginning, it's just this effort, to continuously bring up this mindfulness. Okay? But this effort to note the object continuously, this effort must gradually lead to the development of clear comprehension. Mm. But in order to develop into clear comprehension, mm, the mindfulness that is developed must be continuous. Okay? And it must be precisely directed, moment to moment, precisely directed, to contemplate or to note the four satipatthana objects, the body, feeling, consciousness, uh, and Dhamma, which means natural phenomena. Okay? Mm. So basically, these four objects are satipatthana. Basically, they are just nama rupa, mental physical nature. Okay? Mm. So mind must be continuously and precisely directed. Again and again, we must be directed, contemplate. This nama rupa. Okay? So when it's directed in this way, you gradually develop into uh, this clear comprehension. Mm. Mm. So sampajanya, of clear comprehension, is this uh, clear discernment. Okay? And of particular importance is a clear discernment of the nature of this mental physical phenomena that we contemplate. So, and especially the nature of impermanent suffering non-self. Okay? That means the Vipassana insight. Okay? Mm. So, yeah. So to develop this Vipassana insight that discerns clearly the nature of impermanent suffering non-self. Okay? So we need to contemplate an object that has this nature of impermanent suffering and non-self. Okay? So what are these objects that has this nature of impermanent suffering and non-self? Mm. So if you look at this in the suttas, so in the suttas, the Buddha talked a lot about impermanent suffering and non-self. Okay? So, but each time, whenever he talks about impermanent suffering, non-self, what is he referring to? Right? So he's referring to things like five aggregates, six sense spaces, 18 elements, and so on. Okay? So these aggregates or sense spaces or elements, these are actually uh, various ways or various classification or categories of what we call the ultimate realities or paramattha dhamma. Okay? So, so these are the things, this paramattha dhamma, these ultimate realities, these are the things that has the nature of impermanent suffering and non-self. And so in order to develop vipassana insight, we need to direct our mind to contemplate these ultimate realities. Mm. Mm. So, but what is this ultimate realities? What are these paramattha dhamma? Okay? Mm. So, mm, put it s- uh, put it simply, you can say that it is what is real nature, okay, or truly existing nature. Okay? And when we say nature here means mental, physical nature. Okay? So that means mental, physical nature that truly exists, okay? And not made up or imagined by the mind, but naturally exists. Okay? So, so these are the ultimate realities. So you contrast this with concept. So ultimate realities truly exists, nature that truly exists. Okay? So uh, on the other hand, you have these concepts, uh, ideas that's imagined or conceived by the mind. Okay? So concepts such as the arm, the foot, the abdomen, and so on. Okay? So these are concepts that the mind conceive. Right? So they don't really exist, just an idea in the mind. Okay? So, for example, you said a foot. Right? So in walking meditation, you contemplate. Right? You contemplate the footsteps. Okay? Mm. So, mm, so you think that you see the foot, right? In the beginning, you say, "Oh, my foot is lifting, is pushing, is placing." Okay. But if you really note in the moment, right? Put your attention right in the moment. Okay? Yeah. And the present moment is a very brief period. Yeah? Uh, it's just passed by very fast. Yeah, so that you're not lifting, it's lifting, 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 lifting. Uh, so every moment you're nothing, nothing. Every moment is very fast. So if you keep your mind there, in every moment, there's no time to think, right? It's so fast. So you keep noting what do you experience. You can only experience physical sensation. Okay? Because it's so fast, you have no time to think. You only have enough time to feel whatever sensation is present. When the food is placed on the ground, you put your attention there, what do you feel? You feel maybe pressure, you feel the hardness, so things like that, you feel the tension. So just sensation. Okay? Mm. So if you really put the attention right in the moment and you note continuously, moment after moment after moment, there's just this sensation, physical sensation. uh, And the sensation are there, they are real. It's not imagined by the mind. They're always there. uh. So you bring your mind there, that's what the mind experience directly. Okay? Mm, yeah. So, but if you do not note properly, you do not pay attention properly, and then you experience the sensation that's present superficially. Okay? So you do not really pay much attention to them. So, so instead of discerning the sensations clearly, so you take the superficial experience of the mind, will, out of habit, very quickly, it will immediately take the superficial experience of the sensation and then start forming idea about the experience. Idea, oh, this is my foot is on the ground. So this is an idea that the mind put on the experience. So, and this idea that the mind come up with is called a concept. Okay? So it's not real, it's what the mind imagined. uh, So what the mind experienced directly are the sensation. Okay? The sensation are there, they are real. Regardless of whether the mind conceive it or not, it's there. Okay? But the idea uh, uh, that the mind put on it, that one is what the mind create. Okay? Okay? So it's not real. So the sensation are real. Ideas that the mind come up with, the concepts, they are not real. Mhm. So what the mind can experience directly without thinking, without doing any processing of the experience, okay, to come up with idea. So what the mind can experience directly. Okay, that is this all this sensation. These are real. These are what we call the paramata dhamma, the ultimate realities. Okay? So the idea that the mind form about the sensation, the idea about the food and the food being on the ground, even the ground itself, and these are all concepts. They are not real. Okay? So when we meditate, we contemplate only what is real, only the ultimate realities. Mm. So concepts, yeah, things that are imagined, or conceived by the mind. So they do not really exist. Okay? So because they do not really exist, so they do not have real nature. Okay? Unlike ultimate realities, ultimate realities really exist. So because they really exist, they have real nature. Okay? So concepts do not have real nature. So it's like, for example, if I say, uh, I don't have a car, right? Then I ask you a question: Is my car red or blue? What is the color of my car? Okay? Uh, So this question does not make sense because I don't have a car, right? So you cannot speak of a color or something that doesn't exist, right? So similarly, you cannot speak of the nature of something that does not exist. Okay? So the concepts, they don't really exist. So you cannot speak of any nature. They don't have any real nature. Mm. 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 So because they do not have any real nature, so you also cannot say, you cannot describe it as permanent or impermanent, happiness or suffering and so on. Okay? Only what is real, what truly exists, can be described as impermanent, suffering, or non-self. Okay? So, therefore, only by contemplating what is real, the ultimate realities, then only you can develop insight into impermanent, suffering, and non-self. Okay? So, in our practice, we need to make sure that we contemplate the right object, the ultimate realities. Okay? So, because if we contemplate concepts, we cannot develop insight into impermanent, suffering, non-self. No matter how long you note concepts, you can note 10 years, 20 years, you still will not develop any real insight. Okay? Mm, yeah. I've heard somebody once say, yes, you can take concept as object, you can note, you can see impermanent, suffering, non-self. Yeah, you can go and try. Okay? Right. Whatever insight you think you develop is using concept as an object will be just uh, conceptual insight. uh, so only the mind imagine this is impermanent. It's not really the real impermanent. Okay? So the real impermanent, the real suffering, the real nature or non-self need to be experienced directly by contemplating ultimate realities that which truly exists. And if you contemplate that which is imagined, you can. So your experience of impermanent suffering non-self is also imagined. Okay? It is conceptual insight, okay? Not real insight. Let's stop here today.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namaskar.